And it's all about how to be in charge of your emotions and live life from moment to moment at your highest and best self, at your ideal self. The idea of being in charge of who you are and how you respond. And these skills will change your life if you guys decide to have me teach the town this program. So, hello? Let's see if it's going to work. Okay. Enjoying life is about being in the moment. We do everything in the now. We cannot change what happened even a moment ago. And it's right now where we have our power. It's being in the moment is where our power lies. And by letting the past go and the future arrive, we can choose how to feel from moment to moment. And each moment arrives as a clean slate, a fresh start, a new opportunity to be at our highest and best, our ideal self. So what gets in the way? What's the problem? Why is it so hard? Well, it's going to take us about an hour if my little clicker isn't going to work. Well, it's about stress, folks. And stress is a normal physiological response to events or perception that make you feel threatened or upset your inner balance in some way. And when you sense danger, whether it's real or imagined, the body's defenses kick into high gear, and a rapid automatic response known as the fight, flight, or freeze response, or the stress response. Now, the stress response helps you to rise to meet challenges. But beyond a certain point, stress stops being helpful, and it causes major damage to your health, your mood, your productivity. I wish my little button would work here. Your productivity. How about this? Yeah, if you could, maybe you can do it for me. Yeah, thank you. Your productivity, your relationships, and your quality of life. Next, yeah. The creation of the stress response was driven by intense pressures of natural selection and survival challenges like attacked by our own species, disease, eaten by predators, environmental threats, flood, famine, infection, and the next slide, you can just keep rolling. Yeah. And these challenges caused our physiology in the form of the flight or fight response to embrace a negative bias. Now, a fearful, ever-vigilant approach to how we live our life was necessary to survive these challenges as we were evolving as a species. By assuming the worst, we were able to survive. So there were two types of mistakes that prevailed. Next, yeah. Thinking there was a tiger in the bushes when there wasn't, and assuming a negative event. Now, this worked for us. We could survive as a species assuming there was always something out there that was going to get us. Second was thinking there was no tiger in the bushes when there was one. And that was choosing to be the main course on today's lunch menu. And we could survive as a species to make that mistake, that first mistake, thousands of times without becoming lunch, even once. So it turns out that it's not our fault that the negative is so compelling. We are depending on our instincts to determine how do we respond to external events. This has been the model for man's challenge with stress from our earliest time. Now, how does our negative bias create our beliefs? And why don't you just open that whole thing up? Events happen outside of us. They are external. Experience is internal, though, and it is created by our perception. If I take my wife to a hockey match, I'm going to have a wonderful time, and she's going to be miserable for the entire show. And that's because these physical events outside of us, they're facts, that they're the way they happen. But the way that I perceive them and the way that she perceives them are completely different. And this is the magic about being human, is that each of us has our own unique way of seeing the universe, particular to us. So at any rate, beliefs are created by events. If you think about that, I think you'll agree with me. And how we experience events create our beliefs. And this negative bias that we have supports the negative perception of an experience. And one other one, and this, the negative perception of an experience creates a negative belief. Next one. Just open the whole thing up, I think, for me. Yeah, energy, everything in the universe has an energetic component, and this is important to understand. This unique vibrational signature, and this is true for our emotions and feelings and thoughts also. And this signature allows our physiology to recognize every thought and emotion as a distinct from any other. And the stress response, now this I'm going to talk a little bit about the medical aspect of stress. I'm not going to get heavy into it, but I want you to understand, because it's very important to appreciate this. All signals are screened first by the amygdala. Now, the amygdala is a little almond-sized structure in your brain. It's on both sides of the brain. It's in the limbic region, or the mammalian brain, the emotional part of our brain. And it is the storehouse of trauma memories. And the way our physiology works to keep us safe is everything is screened in the amygdala first. And the vibrations of these external factual events outside are compared to the vibrations of these thousands of trauma memories that are held within the amygdala. And if it even gets a close match, it says, oh, wait a minute, that's it. I need to be afraid. That's just like the time the dog bit me. And so we experience things based on the amygdala screening them first. And we generally, it sees everything as bad. So we tend to respond with this negative bias. So, and I think I've said that. So next. Very important to understand. The first response to physiology distress is the secretion of cortisol, which is the stress hormone. And it increases our heart rate, our blood pressure. It retards digestion. And it diminishes our immune response. Everybody knows stress makes you sick. Right? And also, it destroys brain cells. It literally is killing us. And here's the key thing for our purposes, it directs blood away from the prefrontal cortex to the large skeletal muscles. Now, what that's about? Okay, so our physiology thinks that the angry clerk is more like the tiger in the bushes, and it thinks we need to run. And we need to have blood from somewhere. We don't need to be smart to run, our physiology thinks. It thinks we need blood in our large skeletal muscles, like the thigh muscles, so we can climb the tree and escape. So what happens is we're denying sufficient blood flow to this part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, where our executive functions take place, where strategic thought takes place, where our connection with the universe, the spiritual connection takes place. It's how we connect and know that we're connected, and we feel emotionally strong, and we have a sense of well-being. So this lack of blood flow to the prefrontal cortex prevents us from operating at our highest and best. And we are not able to think clearly or strategically. We feel isolated and alone, and we have lost the feeling of our connection to others. Clearly, we're not at our best when we're under stress, and this stress response served us well in earlier times. However, in modern times, we rarely encounter a tiger in the mall. So stress causes us to be both emotionally and intellectually challenged. My granddaughter says it makes us stupid. So each time a past trauma memory enters our awareness, it feels brand new. And we are fully aware of an emotion from the past, but have no realization it is from the past. And that's the definition of post-traumatic stress. We all suffer from post-trauma. It's just a matter of degree. Okay? Now, this is how most of us live our lives, awash in a sea of cortisol with a high baseline of stress as our normal state. We live our lives overreacting to virtually all events based on our dependence on our physiology to define how we respond. So, whoop, there we go. I'm going to kill my joke. Here you are on the way to work, right? And here's your physiology on the way to work. Some of my friends say that's my physiology, but at any rate, your physiology is threatened. What can we do? Does science offer us a better way to survive or thrive? It certainly does. It's neuroplasticity. Now, for decades, only up until a few decades ago, we believed that the brain was hardwired, that whatever your genetic pool was, that was the brain that you got. Now we know, a few decades ago, we began to be revealed through science that the brain is constantly recreating itself. It's plastic. Depending on what mind state that you're in, your brain creates neural pathways, new brain structures to support that mind state. So if you're in stress, when we're in stress, we're creating brain structure to support a fearful, threatened mind state. Conversely, when we're focused on the positive and embracing life, we are creating brain structure to support a healthy, empathetic mind state. So a positive mind state stimulates the secretion of DHEA, the vitality hormone, and reverses the effect of cortisol and restores balance to our autonomic nervous system. Blood flows back to the prefrontal cortex, where we get smart again and we feel connected. We feel like we're one with the universe. So using self-directed neuroplasticity, you choose to be in charge of your mental state. You set your intention to choose how you feel. You choose how to experience life moment to moment. You become the master of your emotions and your life. Now, everyone has the power to change his or her brain for the better. And this is the revolutionary take-home. This is the message that these skills are about. When you learn these skills and use these skills on a daily basis, you get to be in charge of what your brain structure is, and you get to choose to be positive. All right, Curtis, I'm ready. Because our physiology has evolved to protect us by assuming the worst and diminishing the positive, we need skills to learn and to use so that we can be in charge of our constant changes that take place in our brain, so that we choose our brain state. So we are the creators of our brain structure. Being mindful in the moment. What am I feeling right now in this moment? And that's using HeartMath skills, draws attention away from the negative. And it, just go on down with it. Yeah, ignore, inspires us to install positive experience, allows us to take charge of our emotions and to choose how we feel moment to moment, and by creating a choice point or inner pause. And this is the key to this training, to these skills. With that choice point, you can evade the amygdala's choice for the worst. You can bypass that choice and choose your own response to these events rather than trusting your physiology to come up with something, which it's going to, and you're not going to be happy with it. So, HeartMath was founded in 1991 by Doc Childra and Howard Martin. Their goal was to come up with a process for managing stress that was science-backed, evidence-based, and peer-reviewed. And they've done that. And we now have a series of exercises and of skills that are simple to teach and easy to use that allow us to be in charge of our emotions and not let our physiology drive how we feel and how we live life. The Resilience Advantage is the program that I teach, and it's a part of this HeartMath program. And you can just pop on, yeah, the HeartMath system is used by just about everybody on the planet that is involved in work where they need to be at their highest and best in challenging situations. Navy SEALs are also, should be on that list. They use these skills, and of course there's over 80 studies that have been published by HeartMath over the years, and dozens of studies from other medical and universities to demonstrate. Our clients are in the Fortune 500, some of the major corporations in the world. And next, so the HeartMath research outcomes. Now, am I over time? Because if I am I good? Okay, wrap up. Okay, so I have a handout which I've given you guys which covers the research, some of the key types of research that have been done to show you the incredible amount of change and improvement we get in our lives when we use these skills. And I have my pricing schedule in that, and I hope you all will grab it back there. The key is what this is about. And according to interpersonal neurobiology, supportive relationships are the key to health and well-being. And these skills support the concept of supportive relationships and help us to be more supportive and helpful of each other. In family, friends, in business, it's an amazing shift. And I hope that you'll consider it and you'll show up and get this training from me some afternoon here in the wonderful Indian Head. So thank you, guys, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. On to the next briefing. Charles County Sheriff's Office Teen Court Coordinator, Sarah Vaughn. Vaughn, okay. And she's going to tell us about the Teen Court Program.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Vaughn with the Charles County Sheriff's Office Teen Court Unit. I have been running Teen Court for about 8 years. Teen Court, if you're not aware, I review all the criminal, traffic, alcohol, tobacco, and narcotics charges in Charles County for juveniles. I work with 5 law enforcement agencies. My whole purpose of Teen Court, it was actually started to stop kids from going through the Department of Juvenile Services and State's Attorney's Office with their charges. This was a one-shot opportunity for their cases to be heard by a jury of their peers and to have their case overturned as if it never existed. It's a chance to have a fresh start with no stigma attached to them. So I'm actually here to kind of talk about Teen Court and see if anybody would be interested in volunteering with the Teen Court program and to work with kids and helping them make positive, better choices. Teen Court meets every other Thursday night at the La Plata Courthouse from 5:15 to about 8:45. We run about 3 to 4 courtrooms with multiple cases ranging from assault, weapons, fights, thefts, and traffic. The kids come in, we average about 50 to 60 kids coming in to volunteer their time. They get community service hours, which is used for senior portfolios, and their student service learning hours for graduation for high school. They go into our jury waiting room, we split them up into their assigned courtrooms, and they ask the respondent questions about their case. After asking the respondent questions about their case, the jury works together in a separate room to come up with a fair disposition for them. It can range from jury duty sessions, community service, essays, letters of apology, driving improvement programs. The respondent agrees to everything that jury has asked them to complete. Once they complete everything, the case is closed and sealed as if it never existed. As I'm sure many people are aware, in the state of Maryland, juvenile records are not sealed nor expunged. They're permanent. That's why Teen Court's so important, to get as many kids as possible into the program. Juvenile records are not sealed. A lot of people believe at 18 they're sealed or expunged, and they're not. So you have really great kids who made one really bad decision, and it's going to affect them. Federal, military, and state agencies have access to those juvenile records, and that's not a fair shot. Because the kid got into a fight at school, something happened, somebody egged them on, whatever the situation. I have handouts in the back. Take a handout. My phone number's on there. The Sheriff's Office website's on there. If you're interested in coming to see how Teen Court works, if you're interested, if you have a profession where you're like, hey, I think the kids would love to learn about my profession and might give them another outlook on life, contact me and let me know. I work with all the schools in Charles County. That's 21 elementary schools, 7 high schools, 8 middle schools, along with homeschooled children and 2 private schools. We try to reach out to as many kids as possible to get them involved. We have tons of weekend activities we do. Anything we have for the kids to do, field trips, workout boot camps, anything we pay for. We just ask for transportation so you guys could bring them to, I will even bring activities to Indian Head. If you guys would love for activities to be here, we'll pick up the tab. Just tell me when and where, and we will figure it out. But the thing is, Charles County has really great children. And it's not fair that they get wrapped up in a bad situation and we mark them. Teen Court stands for helping those kids make positive choices in their lives and walking away from bad situations. Does anybody have any questions about Teen Court? I was trying to make it quick for you guys. So my name is Sarah Vaughn, my paperwork's in the back, and I look forward to meeting everybody and talking to you. Thank you.
All right, moving on to presentations, recognitions, resolutions, ordinances, and petitions. First, we have a presentation and a recognition for a proclamation for Municipal Government Works Month. Annie?
The Mayor and Council of the Town of Indian Head proclaim November to be Municipal Government Works Month. Whereas the town was incorporated in 1920, and whereas Maryland is home to 156 other municipalities, and whereas municipal government represents the most responsive level of government, allowing citizens to have direct access to elected officials, and whereas in an effort to educate citizens about municipal government and the importance of their participation, the Town of Indian Head is proud to promote municipal government awareness, and whereas municipalities have enhanced the quality of life for their respective residents, maintaining natural and historic sites and structures and helping to make Maryland a great place to live, work, play, and explore. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Mayor and Council of the Town of Indian Head, Maryland, hereby joins the Maryland Municipal League in declaring November to be Municipal Government Works Month in Indian Head, signed this second day of November 2015.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move we adopt November as Municipality Government Works Month.
And I second that.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. It's Municipal Government Works Month, everybody. All right. On to our first resolution for introduction.
The first resolution for introduction is Resolution 11-01-15, introduced by Mayor and Council. Date introduced November 2nd, 2015. Date adopted tentatively December 7th, 2015. And date effective would tentatively be January 26th, 2016. And the reason for that is this is a charter amendment resolution. A resolution concerning charter amendment, remote participation at town council meetings. For the purpose of amending the charter of the Town of Indian Head to authorize the remote participation of the mayor or council members at town council meetings under certain circumstances and conditions, providing for a quorum at council meetings when a person participates from a remote location, and matters generally related to attendance and participation in town council meetings. By repealing and reenacting with amendments, Charter of the Town of Indian Head, Article 2, the Council, Sections C2-4 and C2-9. Be it resolved by the Council of the Town of Indian Head that Sections C2-4 and C2-9 of the Charter of the Town of Indian Head is repealed and reenacted with amendments to read as follows. So I am just going to read the amended portions, so you don't have to hear all of that, just the changes that are going to be made. Article 2, the Council, C2-4 meetings. So the change would be, the council may provide by resolution for the mayor or council members to participate and have full rights of participation in a council meeting from a remote location by electronic means, provided that the meeting is convened in accordance with this section and the remote participant can hear persons participating in the meeting at the meeting place, and persons at the meeting place can hear the remote participant. Section C2-8, quorum. A person who participates in a council meeting by electronic means from a remote location in accord with such rules and procedures as the council may prescribe by resolution may be counted towards a quorum at the meeting. Be it further resolved by the Town Council of the Town of Indian Head that the date of adoption of this resolution is tentatively December 7th, and the amendment to the Charter of the Town of Indian Head would become effective on January 26th, as long as it is adopted, 50 days following the enactment of the resolution. And it will also be posted in the town hall for 40 days after adoption, and it will be advertised in the paper for several weeks.
All right, thank you. Any questions? All right, moving on to 11-15, resolution for introduction and adoption.
Resolution 11-02-15, introduced by Mayor and Council. Date introduced November 2nd, 2015. Date adopted November 2nd, 2015. Date effective November 2nd, 2015. A resolution appointing and reappointing members and establishing their respective terms of office to the Indian Head Community Activities Committee for 3-year terms. Whereas the following individuals have expressed a desire to serve as members of the Indian Head Community Activities Committee, and whereas Article 4 of the Code of the Town of Indian Head empowers the Town Council of Indian Head to make appointments to the Indian Head Community Activities Committee. Now therefore be it hereby resolved by the Town Council of Indian Head, Maryland, that the following